Welcome to this brief crash course on bottoms-up kettlebell drills. Bottoms-up drills are, in my opinion, one of only two real, true standout benefits of training with kettlebells, and it's definitely the most overlooked. Ballistic kettlebell drills, and particularly high-rep kettlebell ballistics, these, the praises of these are sung left and right, so I don't really need to go into a whole lot of detail with those. But bottoms-up training is another one of those things that you just really can't do with a barbell or with dumbbells, and it really helped kettlebells stand out as a phenomenal tool for building strength, particularly for building it with very little equipment and weights that are really pretty light. One of the big benefits is that in addition to, number one, just being difficult, it's also really going to strengthen and make far clearer the grip and core connection. It's going to strengthen the muscles surrounding the rotator cuff, particularly for things like presses, and it is going to really improve your coordination. And the other really great thing about it is that, believe it or not, it is quite scalable. So, smaller weights aside, you can work your way up to bigger weights relatively easily with a couple of minor changes. So, a lot can be said about bottoms-up drills. In fact, there are a number of them that you don't see very often, but you could still do, such as bottoms-up snatch, bottoms-up Turkish get-up. I'm not really going to cover these just because they're advanced to the point where in a crash course it doesn't really make much sense to cover them. What I will show you is going to be singles and doubles with the clean, the press, and the squat, because these are going to be far more attainable, and they're a lot of fun as well, right? First things first, we're gonna need to talk about the grip. So the hand position for a regular, this is where a lot of people fall short actually, is they try to do bottoms-up drills the same way that they would do regular kettlebell drills. What that means is they try to use it in this straight wrist position. Now that's absolutely necessary, or at least advisable for the other kettlebell drills. For bottoms-up, you're just gonna be fighting the weight the whole time. It doesn't make a lot of sense. And now on the contrary, you don't want to have this barbell style grip that you might use for like a military press or something like that, because it's just a bit unnecessary. What you do want is you want something kind of in between, so not here and not all the way bent back, but something about like that, because what that's going to do is going to allow the handle, or the majority of it, to be in this part of the hand and not about to fall out like it is here, and not pressing down on the wrist like it would be if you were cranked all the way back. Okay, so what does this mean in practical terms, and how do you get to it? I will show you. So first things first, and I'll show you from two angles, is number one, you want to get your hand in that position to start with. So you're going to get your hand here, and what I like to have people do is lean forward as if they were going to do like a one-arm push-up on it, all right? Same thing would apply if you were doing doubles, but you're going to lean forward. You need to be able to support your weight. So that is going to be the position that you're going to be in. Now, similar to what we've done with the setup for the swing and for the clean, is you want to make sure that you are in a position where the kettlebell is aimed toward you, because a lot of times with like a regular kettlebell drill, like if you're going to do swings and you want to start like this, it's annoying to have to do this and then that very quickly. With bottoms up, it's going to make it almost impossible, because it's going to rely solely on the strength of your wrist. In order to make that happen, you don't want to waste your time with that. So what I mean is, if you're trying to do this and then go from this position to throwing it back like that, you're probably going to start opening up at the grip a little bit. So you want to keep a tight grip on it the whole time, so you need it to be here. So you need two things, okay? One, to be able to lean on it like this. Two, when you lean back, show you from the side, lean on it. When you lean back, it should absolutely come with you, and you'll really feel like your pinky is very strongly loaded up as you do it. Now from here, you're going to learn the clean, okay? So you've cleaned the kettlebell, just like so, all right? And to set it back down, you don't have to be as concerned with the grip. You can loosen it a little bit and just kind of set it down as you normally would, okay? So a couple of things. Obviously, at the beginning, you're going to want to start a little bit light, but there are a couple of options for if you do have heavier kettlebells and you want to start working with them, or you want to start working your way toward being able to use the heavier kettlebells. There are different hand positions. As a matter of fact, there are three. There's a reason I'm doing this grip, because this finger and this finger, we're going to switch what they're doing, and that's going to make all the difference in the world. And I'll come a little bit closer to show you this too. Okay, so Now the standard for the bottoms up is going to be as you saw me do it before, which is like this, with all the fingers on the bell, like so, all right? Now, if you're using a heavier weight and you want to start getting used to, let's say, doing some bottoms up presses or squats with a heavier weight, but let's say you just don't yet have the grip strength to be able to hold it maybe more than a few seconds, what you can do is you can start working toward it by using this finger to stabilize. And the way that you do that is you're going to do everything that we did before, but you're going to hold your finger on this part of the bell like that. So when you clean it, your hand is going to be up quite a bit higher, obviously. So you're not going to try to do it from here. You're going to want to try to do it from there. And you're going to have a lot better control over the kettlebell from here, okay? So again, this is perfect. This position here is perfect for using heavier weights. It's going to allow you to, once again, squat with them, start to press with them, and get used to that so that when time goes on, you can make the transition from here to here, all right? But this is a relatively small bell. This is only 12 kilos. So the next stage is going to be letting go of the pinky. Now, the pinky has a lot to do with grip strength. So for example, you know, if your pinky is weak, odds are, believe it or not, your hand is probably not that strong to begin with. So, and it's going to make it a lot harder to get a good grip on the bell. So if you want to start working your way up from the lighter weights and start getting used to squeezing a lot harder and really being focused and honed in, it's going to be helpful to have this one like that, okay? So, from here, just to give you an idea, now your hand is going to be on the other side of the bell, as you can see, okay? So, without the pinky, you've only got these fingers doing the work, so you have to really squeeze pretty hard. This is quite a bit harder than you might think. So again, go light to begin with. I'm not even sure that I'm actually going to be able to do this. In fact, I'm going to give this hand a break and I'm going to give this one a try. Okay. All right, just like that. A lot harder. It's going to require a lot more focus and attention, but it makes a huge difference in the long run. So if you only have one bell to start off with, for example, you can absolutely, let's say you want to start doing more pressing, but you can't do all that much with the standard position. You can start here. As you get better, move to here, and as you're ready to move on, move then to here. This is the more advanced variation, all right? So with that said, now that we understand the hand position, next thing that we can do is we can start working on some of the movements. So I already showed you the clean, okay? A couple things to keep in mind with the clean. Now, generally speaking, and this is going to be true also for the snatch, which again, you're not going to do anytime soon, but generally speaking, one of the big issues with bottoms up work is that people will treat it the exact same as the rest of their ballistics, particularly with the clean, it's especially obvious. So many people, there are a couple of different positions you can have your hand in. You can have it totally neutral, you can have it turned in, and I'm talking about like at the bottom, for example, or you can have it turned slightly out or completely up and down neutral like this, right? So I would prefer straight up and down like that. If you try going in like this and then correcting, the kettlebell is just going to want to spin out. So you want to make sure that it's a completely direct path upward, all right? The rest of the clean technique still applies, meaning it should come up, it should be a little bit of a row back here, your elbow goes back and then tucks under. So you're not trying to curl it, all right? Although that is a good bottoms up drill, trust me, it's going to take some time before you get there. All right, so what we're going to do here, just to demonstrate, I'll show you from the other side. I've got the kettlebell here. I'm not here trying to turn it inward. Kettlebell right there. I rock forward, pull myself back, and get it into position. All right? Easy. So from here, what we can start to do, what I would recommend is before you even bother trying to press, try a squat. And the way you want to do it is you want to have your hand here so that if the kettlebell falls inward, it doesn't give your jaw surgeon of next year's model Mercedes, okay? So you squat down, like so, keep your hand here, and stand back up. Bring it down any which way you'd like. But this is going to help get you used to, number one, holding this position, which is going to have a lot of benefits for the shoulder girdle grip as well as the core. and it's going to teach you how to start moving with the weight. You can also do things like loaded carries like this. I'm a really big fan of loaded carries in a bottoms up position. And then once you have gotten pretty good at that, you can start working on pressing, okay? So, with the press, what we're gonna do is the exact same thing, but I want you to notice a couple of things. I'm gonna show you from the side first, and then I'll show you from the front. So, get into position, get to here, press, and pull down. Now you'll notice, as I press, I have to lean back a little bit more, and my hand is also, I'm not completely locked out like this, and I'm keeping my eye on the bell the entire time. You can take your eye off the bell if you want, but that's user beware, because again, if the kettlebell falls like this, it doesn't matter if your head hits the bell or the bell hits your head is not going to appreciate it. Keep your eye on the bell, be ready to bail out. It could fall here, in which case that's a bit easier to deal with, or it could fall inward, which is, again, you're going to want to have something to cover your face. So you want to be able to see it before you can feel it. That's going to be a lot safer, all right? Now, again, so from the side, it's not going to be a straight ramrod straight up and down, most likely, as you would like. That's perfectly fine. That's just the nature of the press. From the front, one thing you're going to notice that'll be interesting is get into position, clean, okay, press. You'll notice my elbow doesn't really go out all that far. The reason I point this out, because a lot of people when they press, they'll get away with this for a very long time with lighter weights. They'll let their elbows swing out like a barn door, all right? It's just not very effective after a while to continue to do that, particularly with heavier weight. Shoulder is not really going to appreciate it. Ideally, you want to try to keep your elbow in. It doesn't have to be straight up and down. That's not going to happen. But it should be in probably more than you think it should be, even if you have long arms. Like I have kind of longish arms. If you can see, they reach down pretty close to my knee. I mean, there are some people I know who can just barely get their hands in their pockets. And so when they do it, I mean, their elbow is practically straight up and down. They just have a much tighter press inside, okay? If your arms are longer, like mine, and mine aren't even freakishly long, but I would say they're probably longer than the average person's. Generally speaking, you're gonna feel inclined to do this, but you're gonna get a better idea of what your real groove is in the press by doing bottoms up work, okay? Now, very quickly, I'll cover double kettlebell stuff for the bottoms up, but I don't think you're gonna be doing a whole lot if you're just learning how to do it, but nevertheless, I'm gonna show you what you're gonna wanna do. So again, everything else stays the same. Really, all we're doing is just some stuff with the doubles. But in terms of safety and performance, there are going to be a couple things to consider here that you might not have to consider elsewhere. So from here, once again, get into position, rock forward, pull back, got the clean, okay? Narrow your stance for the squat. Now, if one of these caves in and you need to bail, you need to be very, very familiar with this position. With the press, you need to really squeeze your abs and really pull your chest open, because pressing them overhead is going to be a lot tougher. Because as you notice, when I was doing it with just one side, I can kind of move out of the way like this at the top. Now, in addition to needing to be opened up, you're going to need to, the movement's going to need from the side is going to need to come from somewhere else. And if you can't get yourself completely under, as you likely won't be able to with a double bottoms up press, something else is going to have to give. A lot of people are going to lean at the low back. You don't want that. You want to lean back at the upper back. It's safer, it's better for performance, it's going to make you a hell of a lot stronger. All right? So, I hope you've enjoyed this crash course. If you want to learn more about bottoms up kettlebell training, how to program it, and how to use it to transform your strength, feel free to drop me an email and let me know. All right? In the meantime, have fun and happy training.